A very good afternoon to you. I'm Lisa Lord with the CBC News at noon. Progress reportedly made following talks aimed at ending the impasse between the Barbados Community College and the National Union of Public Workers. This is according to BCC Principal Dr. Gladstone Best following last evening's meeting. The two sides were locked in talks which began at 3 at the Labour Department in Warrens. It was mediated by the Chief Labour Officer Vincent Burnett. Issues of contention include contracts for part-time tutors and possible layoffs. Outgoing General Secretary of the NUPW Dennis Clark says the sides are to meet again come Monday. Prime Minister Frundell Stewart is leading a high-level team to the 17th special meeting of the Conference of Heads to discuss chikungunya and Ebola over in Port of Spain. Among the delegation is Permanent Secretary in the Defense and Security Gabrielle Springer and Chief Medical Officer Dr. Joy St. John, along with the Minister of Health John Boyce. Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has called for the special meeting of the regional grouping in September to discuss the public health issues. The primary purpose of the meeting is to review action being taken with regard to the current public health issues facing the region. It's expected that the heads will agree on a way forward. Meantime, teams of experts in outbreak alert and response are to be deployed to help Caribbean countries ensure they are prepared for any potential introduction of Ebola. PAHO and the WHO say missions will visit member countries over the next 2 months to assess levels of preparedness to detect, treat and control the spread of any potential imported case of Ebola. In coordinating with national health authorities, the mission will assess gaps and make recommendations to addressing them. PAHO and the WHO will provide follow-up technical cooperation based on individual country needs. Experts will be deployed if any imported case of Ebola is identified in any of the member countries. The Bridgetown Port Taxi Co-op Society Limited says it supports government's plans for the Sugar Point Cruise Terminal, and the executive is positioning society to ensure that members can earn more once that facility is completed. President Villeneuve Graves tells CBC News creating a new facility for cruise ships is the way to go. He says the Co-op Society is hoping to diversify its operations.
We are thinking primarily because some of the islands already have water taxis. That is an area that we hope that we could look at. Some of my members might be upset that I say that, but we are progressive in our thinking with it. My concern about it is that I think we need to develop ancillary attractions around the facility, both in the island and nearby, to accommodate the type of activities that we have. There's a lot of good work that can be done, and it's not difficult, but somehow we are missing, or we're not getting the right people to get these things going.
Mr. Graves says the attractions on the island have to be upgraded in order to lure more visitors, and he suggests that Pelican Village can be further developed.
Especially if the Sugar Point go right to the west of it, Pelican Village should be really refurbished to accommodate and be a #1 attraction. Some of the existing attractions, like the cave and some of those out in the country, they have to diversify their approach. They have to do some additional things to make their facility must-see, and when you come, must participate, so that you spend money and things like that. You know, even the airport has to do some work to get it really going. So there's a lot of things that can be done, but I find that we are only criticizing and not really seeking solutions to some of the problems that we have.
The fishing sector in the region still holds the key to food security and eliminating poverty, particularly in small island states. This is one of the findings of Robert Pomeroy, a professor in agricultural and resource economics at the University of Connecticut, who gave the feature address at the opening of the 67th Annual Gulf and Caribbean Fisheries Institute at the Accra Beach Hotel. The professor cited weak governance, socioeconomic conditions, and ecosystem changes as other challenges facing small islands.
Really looking at fish as a central element of food security, nutrition, and poverty strategies in coastal communities. Fish can be seen as a pathway. This can be seen as a pathway linking fisheries to poverty and food security, looking at the nutritional benefits of fisheries, looking at the income, livelihood, and multiplier effects of fisheries, and looking at fisheries as a generator of revenues. is looking at the poverty and food security implications of restructuring fisheries. As we think about these new approaches the World Bank and others are putting forward in terms of rights-based management, in terms of market-based solutions, what kind of impacts are they going to have on poverty and food security, and how can we best address those?
Well, there is a need for urgency if government is to realistically achieve its deficit target and realize sustainable growth. This from President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Barbados, or ICAB, Roger Arthur. He made the comments during a press conference held as part of Accountants Week 2014.
To achieve the target growth of 2% of GDP by 2015, we certainly require urgent action on several of the fronts, including boosting investor confidence, greater efficiency in the legal system, increased productivity in the public sector, and reform, especially in our state enterprises.
Meantime, Mr. Arthur also revealed the results of a survey that ICAB carried out to assess the confidence of its members in the path of the Barbados economy. 10% of ICAB's 838 members have so far participated.
62 of the respondents think that the economy will be worse in 6 months' time, while 32% believe that it will neither be better nor worse. So generally leaning towards a level of uncertainty about the future of the economy. 94% of the respondents believe that companies are letting people go and reducing the workforce based on what they know or have seen. And that's a worrying trend, because if growth is to return to the economy, then we need to have employment.
Barbados has failed to secure top awards at this year's World Travel Awards. The island was nominated in a number of categories and was vying to be named the leading Caribbean destination and the leading honeymoon destination. Those awards were won by Jamaica and St. Lucia, respectively. Jamaica also beat out the island and won the categories for leading Caribbean air and seaports and the Caribbean's leading convention center. Mango Bay was named Barbados' leading boutique resort, the St. James Hotel the leading hotel on the island, Sandy Lane is Barbados' leading resort, and the Fairmont Hotel the leading spa resort. Well, despite some misconceptions, Barbadians are being told Mormons are normal and regular people. Social media contact with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Kathy Daniel, is inviting anyone who wants to know more about that church to join them for service. She tells CBC News the church will continue reaching out to the masses.
We have 3 branches here in Barbados. There's Christchurch, there's Oistins, and there's Black Rock. And I guess every church leader's dream would be to have each of those buildings packed to the overflow on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. And that's when we start, Sunday morning, 10 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
So we invite everyone, come on out, come join us.
Barbadians will be afforded the opportunity to say their goodbyes to former Senator Treasurer of the Democratic Labour Party, Tennyson Beckles, this week. Beckles, one of Barbados' leading economists, passed away last week at the age of 76. His body will be posed at the George Street Auditorium tomorrow from 10 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. His funeral service will take place Friday at the Church of St. John the Baptist in Thorpe, St. James, and the interment will be at the St. James Cemetery.